Welcome to Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use.
Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media, LLC. Consider product placement with Just Minding My Business Media, LLC. With our presence on all major podcast platforms and listeners in over 200 countries, that makes your message international. Visit our website at jmmbmediallc.com to discover digital products to 10x your business. Contact us at jmmbradio@gmail.com. Faith sees the invisible, believes the unbelievable, and receives the impossible. Corey Ten Bloom. Today, we welcome authors of the anthology UnShakable Faith to be released June 23, 2022. This book is the work of women who have overcome difficulties that challenge their faith, but their faith was unshakable. The purpose of this anthology is to help you to redirect your emotions, redefine who God says you are, and provide a space in which you can renew yourself. Each chapter ends with 3 questions for you, the reader, to answer that will empower you to move up to your next level. Today, we welcome from this anthology, Reverend Allison G. Daniels, who is the CEO of AGD Publishing Services, LLC, and an international 5 times best-selling author who has written over 31 books. She assists authors, aspiring authors, consultants, and goal setters to write, share, and publish their book, to create multiple streams of income, gain authority in their field, and maximize their book sales. She is the creator of the 30-day Write to Finish book writing program, helping turn writers into successful published authors. Affectionately known as a strategic focused team leader in the corporate world, Allison Daniels now applies the same principles in the publishing industry. Welcome, Allison.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. Wow. Look, having me and the rest will be on board. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. And we forgot to mention that you are the visionary of this book.
Yes.
So,
yes.
What was the vision? What was your thoughts behind producing this book?
Well, one of the things I always tell people that it is a God-given vision. And what I mean by that is I'm always seeking God for my next book, my next anthology. And so when God had given me unshakable faith, everything that you have gone through, you had that unshakable faith and you did not allow it to stop you, but you kept on going. And so I thought the book was just for me. So I was just going to put out a book, Unshakable Faith. And then I write, my different stories in there. And God said, no, there are other women that have that unshakable faith that have gone through something and they didn't give up and they didn't give in. It was their faith that was unshakable that kept them moving forward.
Absolutely. And 31 books. You've been writing since a toddler, huh? Wow, that's amazing, the work that you have been doing and your company. Tell everybody a little bit about your company.
So believe it or not, AGD Publishing Services came about during the pandemic. So when people are saying, everything was going down during the pandemic, nothing was coming out of it, I'm here to tell you, I'm a living testimony that was the time that God told me to release my publishing company. Although I've been writing since 1994, I never had, the courage to go out and step out on faith and actually do it until August of 2019. And God said, release it now. And I said, no, I can't release it right now. It's during the pandemic time. People are not going to have, the funds they're trying to save up, and he said, release it now. But I released it. I believe less than 24 hours, my pastor was my first author. My co-pastor was my second author. A bishop friend of mine was my third author. And then I had an elder of the church. And I said, look at God. And that's why it's always good to follow and be obedient. When God tells you to do something, just go ahead and do it. And he'll put people in place and he'll order how he wants things to be set up. And so AGD Publishing Services came about during that time. And now I've been assisting authors and putting out anthologies. This will be my fourth anthology, working on another anthology, but I'm constantly writing and helping build other people.
Yes. So, wow, that is just amazing. And one of the things you said was being obedient, and a lot of times that's so difficult for people to do. I mean, we can look at that through our children. How many times we got to tell them something? So talk about obedience for a minute, and why is that so critical in anything that you do?
I believe obedience is really critical because if we're not paying attention to it and lining ourselves up with being obedient in everything that we do, we'll find ourselves kind of swaying at different places. We'll find ourselves kind of being out of order when all we had to do was be obedient to what God said, obedient when it comes to obeying the law, because some of us don't want to obey the law, obedient when there are certain things that need to be done and we need to abide by at that time in that season. And it's crucial if we decide that we don't want to be obedient and we step out of order, then we wonder why things don't always fall in place for us because we're not obedient at that particular time. And it's crucial because I think it makes a difference, because if I had released it maybe the following year, I don't know what the outcome would have been. Mm-hmm. But because I released it in that season when God told me, look at how everything is coming together. Look at the different women that I have met along the way. On this book here, I have a young lady from Dubai, a young lady from Australia, a young lady from Canada. So I would have never been able to, I don't believe, meet as many people as I'm meeting along the way if I hadn't been obedient to what God had told me to do in August of 2019.
Yeah, so obedience is a crucial thing, and a lot of times God will tell us something to do, but we don't pay attention.
No.
And I know you've heard that old saying, I was waiting for my ship to come in, and the Lord said, well, I sent you a boat. So we don't always pay attention mm-hmm. to the signals of when God is speaking to us. And I think he speaks to us all in different ways. And because we're different, so he's not going to speak to everyone the same way. Mm-hmm. So being able to know when God is speaking to you is just as important as being obedient, because to be obedient, you got to hear.
Yes.
You have to hear. So how does God speak to you?
It really depends, because sometimes it could be in a dream, something that I've been kind of, thinking about or pondering over, or it could be while I'm reading the scriptures and all of a sudden, I'm going through and the Holy Spirit pops up and it's like, do you remember that you prayed about that? Here it is, or I could be just, I don't know, just moving around, and someone comes by and they start talking, and immediately that ear comes up, that hearing ear. And I'm like, I remember why this happened or what was going on at that time. So he really speaks to me in different ways. I'm just more aware of now when he speaks that it doesn't have to be the same way. I used to expect that, okay, if I sit and read for like 20, 30 minutes, then I'll hear from God. Well, I hear from God just about all the time when I'm in tune. So I'm making sure that, I spend that quality time so that I can hear from him, in season and out of season. So, it's during that times that I really realize when he's speaking to me.
Yes. And sometimes he speaks to me at the darnest times. I don't even really I'll be kind of doing something else. And all of a sudden something you should do this. Or it's just crazy. I think it works differently for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And for me, it's at the darnest times.
Yes.
Yeah. So what can we expect from this book?
I always say about all the books, but definitely from this one, to see people healed, delivered, and set free from the opinions of others and worrying about what people think about you, because if you stay focused in on what God is saying to you, you think about everything that you have gone through. It was your unshakable faith that brought you through it. So being able to be healed from the opinion of others and not allowing that to stop you, even though down through the years you were broken, you were rejected, certain things happened that you didn't want to happen or couldn't avoid that happened to you. It's your unshakable faith that has carried you to this point. So I'm hoping that when they read each story, that they'll get something from each author, because they're sharing, from their heart. They're letting you know exactly how they overcame to get to that point of that unshakable faith.
All righty, man. Yeah. So do you have any chapters in the book? Do you have a chapter in the book?
So I did like a little piece called Unshakable Vision. And mine will always kind of line up with vision and writing. And what I wrote in that was just letting others know that don't give up on the vision that God has given you. Don't give up on that assignment that he has placed on your life, because the more you stay in line with God, the more he will direct you and the more he will order your steps. So mine deal with that unshakable vision that I had in 1994. And here I am today, still focusing on what I believe he called me to do.
All right, now. Well, we can't wait till the book comes out, and that's June 23rd.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All righty now. Mm-hmm. Ruth, you want to add anything?
No, it was a very good conversation. And I know you were talking about how God talks to you, and with each one of us, it's different. And sometimes I call it that still quiet voice. That's when I know that it's God speaking to me, and it's very clear. There's no question about it. I can't question it. That's all I can do is act on it, if that's what I'm supposed to do. So good conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Allison, we are always honored to have you on our platform. You already know, as soon as I hear, I got another book coming out, can we do this? Yes, ma'am. You are joy, you are wonderful, and we just love having you and your authors in our space. And I know
congratulations on this book and the next one that's coming out. I heard you mentioning it. There's already another one in progress.
Yes, I'm praying on it, but yes.
All righty now. Thank you so much, my dear.
Okay. Thank you.
And we shall talk soon.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.